Am I good to go? Okay, cool. So today, please allow me to update you about the development of the new version of UFLUX, which is a hybrid physics-informed machine learning. And the strength of the UFLUX 2 is really fast, accurate, and ready to use for all types of customers or researchers. So, so here, the motivation here is this is a global carbon uptake from 23 models from the Trendy initiative. All the models, they use different approach, they're from different perspective, but you can see here, there's a huge uncertainty between these models. So we can see the carbon uptake in terms of GPP ranges from about 80 petagram to 160 over 160. So the uncertainty is approaching 100%. So how can we get a better understanding of it if we couldn't achieve any agreement to secure the future climate change? So what we're proposing here is the previous studies, they use process modeling like trendy here. Some people use eddy covariance upscaling with machine learning. So it's like data-driven methods. So we want to combine them together. The process modeling is based on our existing ecological knowledge, so it's fully explainable, but sometimes it has very big errors in many areas because the model is not trained well globally because we don't have enough field experiments or laboratory experiments to support the development of process modeling. On the other hand, we have machine learning driven by existing FluxNet or other or ICOS eddy current towers networks. So it is pretty accurate, but it has no explainability because existing machine learning models, they act as a black box, so we don't know what's going on there. So what we are doing right now is combine them together. Instead of using machine learning to fit the eddy covariant fluxes, we use machine learning to estimate or fit or predict the difference or the residue between the measurements and the covariance per se and the process modeling, and use the so-called explainable machine learning to understand what caused the errors and to use this kind of information to quantify and update our models to update our knowledge as well. So this is the workflow of the physics-informed UFLUX 2. And we have the drivers of climate, which includes the temperature, the vapor pressure deficit to represent our dryness, and also the solar radiation. And we have multi-scale Earth observation data, and we use this kind of information all together to drive the process-based models. So we call them as a baseline, and then we use the eddy covariance and machine learning to quantify or correct that understanding to generate global carbon water fluxes and also the carbon allocation. So I think she has introduced the random forest and the XGBoost. Instead of directly using them, we used a smart forest for the algorithm we developed. So this is a combination of the computer vision methods, the deep neural networks like the convolution neural network, and also the sequential processing deep learning like the recurrent or long short-term memory to process the very long time series. So for example, like the fluxes in 20 years ago, they probably have really small weight on predicting the flux tomorrow, but the flux yesterday or last week has higher weight. And the image convolution bits, we use them to process to or what do we say, to detect or capture the ecosystem's spatial structure from the silent imagery. And the reason we use deep layered decision tree-based models, which can be random forest or XGBoost, is the reason is this kind of data is tabular. And according to paper 2019, the deep neural networks, they don't perform very well and outperformed by this decision tree-based model. The reason is the data format. So you can't expect a one-dimension neural network perform well for this kind of task. So that's the reason we combine the strengths of image processing, time series neural networks with this deep layered decision tree to achieve a better performance. And on the right-hand side, you can see the identify learn update cycle we use in the UFLUX2. So you can see here there's an ecosystem models we call baseline. It can be Farquhar models or other kind of the process-based. So and we calculate the difference or residual between the observation, like the eddy covariance, and the models. We identify this difference. We use XAI, explainable machine learning, to quantify the causes or like a partial dependence of the errors on different time climate variables like novel climate extremes, and updated the knowledge. We found this new knowledge, previously hidden ecological knowledge, and we use that to update the ecosystem models. We use here we update the baseline models, and we also use this kind of information to update other models like the JULES models in the ESM. Oh, sorry. And the weighted a global validation for carbon uptake, carbon ecosystem respiration, the net ecosystem exchange, the net carbon flux, and also the evapotranspiration in terms of latent energy, LE. So you can see here the blue dots are from the process-based models, and the orange ones are from our UFLUX2. So you can see here the baseline process models, they gave pretty okay estimation with R-square about 0.5, and our model UFLUX2 improved that for over 30 or 50 sometimes percent. And another strength of UFLUX2 is the mass conservation. So this equation NE equals to the difference between ecosystem respiration and carbon uptake is the physical law here and needs to be valid. So there's two ways to upscale the in situ tower-based flux measurements. One way is directly we upscale the net ecosystem exchange from eddy covariant towers. The second pathway is to upscale the respiration and carbon uptake separately, and then do the calculation to the subsistence. So the subtraction to calculate NE. And you can see here the two pathways, the direct one or indirect one, will achieve quite good consistency or agreement. So we can see that in the large extent, the UFLUX2 ensure the mass conservation, which is really important for fine scale or granular scale applications. Another key point is most global studies will use moderate resolution satellites like MODIS with 500 meter resolution, but now since 2013 or 2014, we have a lot of high quality, high resolution satellites like Landsat 8, 9, and Sentinel-2. And we did a comparison here to downscale all the high resolution or moderate resolution to the coarse resolution 5 kilometer resolution here. So you can see the square dots for both MODIS and Landsat or Sentinel-2, they achieve quite a good agreement on the 5 kilometer resolution. But when we use higher resolution, the global carbon leak is much lower. So when we compare the 30-meter resolution against the 5 kilometer, or compare the 30 meter to 500 meter, we can see there's about 30% of overestimation of global carbon uptake from this usage of moderate or coarse resolution. And the reason behind it is the eddy covariant towers, they tend to be high vegetation area, and the coarse resolution, they normally have this mixed pixels, reduce the vegetation index, for example. So this is the mechanism of why this overestimation. So we have global eddy covariance towers, and their carbon uptake in terms of GBP remain the same, 3.5 gram per square meter per day. But on the coarse resolution, like 5 kilometer times 5 kilometers, the vegetation index here, for example, like the near V and near infrared, the vegetation index we use here gives the value of 0.1, but on 500 meter resolution gives a higher value. And if we go higher resolution, the vegetation index value goes higher. Because the global grid level vegetation index remains the same, 0.09. So the machine learning, therefore, is misunderstood. It misguided and basically it's misled by this mismatch between the spatial resolution and the vegetation index. So you can see for the coarse resolution, it equals to 0.1 vegetation index to 10 gram per meter per square meter per day carbon uptake, and 0.12 to 10 gram, 0.13 to 10 gram on different spatial resolution, and therefore cause the overestimation. And this is highly related to the footprint of the eddy towers. For forests, like the mixed forest, so the footprint of eddy towers there is about 500 or 700 meters. So here when we use the 30-meter resolution satellite or 500-meter satellite, they don't make much difference. But it is really important we keep using high resolution satellite for ecosystem like cropland, where the eddy towers, the canopy lower and the tower is lower, and therefore the footprint is about 100 meters. So we definitely need high resolution, higher than 100 meters. And therefore, according to this, when we apply our UFLUX version 2, we correct this difference between the satellite resolution and achieve consistency. So you can see when we use the 500-meter MODIS, 30-meter Landsat or 10 meters and 2 for cropland, evergreen broadleaf forest, evergreen needleaf forest, grassland, savanna, and wetland, we can achieve good agreement. So this is really important for the global study. We don't really need high resolution everywhere to reduce our storage, but we can keep the key area of interest high resolution, and other regions like forests, we can do it like on 500 kilometers. And we also unify the data streams, the different types of Earth observation, like the vegetation index or solar-induced fluorescence or different climate drivers. So we achieve when we combine them together, and also the Sentinel-1 backscatter data to reveal the soil moisture. When we combine everything together, we achieve higher accuracy with R-squared about 0.9. That's 3 years ago, and we believe we are doing better. It can be over 0.9, about 0.95. And we also released the dataset, quite a good agreement between the different satellites and climate drivers. And we released this data this month for free for open access for 20 years. And we can also get, using UFLUX, to understand the carbon stocks, not just the fluxes like the carbon uptake, but where the carbon is stored. So like this one is a comparison of UFLUX against the trendy models. This is for carbon uptake, this is for ecosystem respiration, and this is for net ecosystem exchange or production here. And this is for above ground biomass, which is really important for many studies. In general, it's a pretty good agreement, and the main difference is in the respiration in tropical regions. And we found that this is related to the overestimation of partitioning method using eddy covariance during the nighttime. And this is the reason also caused the difference for net ecosystem exchange and also above ground biomass. And it's something we're working on to fix in the next year. And this is an independent comparison of our UFLUX above ground biomass against the ESA CCA. And we can see, because this ESA DCI data is not sync-band model, so it's a really independent comparison. And you can see we still achieve quite a good agreement on a global scale with R-squared about 0.7, which is really difficult for the above ground biomass studies. So it's pretty high value. And we also did like low scale applications. So this is a Northwick Rothamsted farm in southwest England. So we did a high resolution 10-meter estimation from 3 towers in this field to the whole farm. So you can see this is the carbon emission from grazing. And the really interesting is here on the top right corner. This is the value for specific day, 2015, May 1st. And you can see in this small field here. So the farmers there are doing the grass cutting the halfway because it's the midday. The overpassing time is the midday. So the agriculture application, the management information is well captured by the satellite and the UFLUX results. And also you can see the bars here are from the farmers. They record how many animals like cattle or sheep or lamb on the field. And you can see the blue lines is the grazing fluxes from the UFLUX in good agreement with the number of livestock on field. So you can see the model results are pretty good. And this is just a taster for you. This is the process models we squeezed in our UFLUX. It can be used like you can use other process models. For example, you can use the Farquhar model. Probably that's not that process based, but you can use that. And you can also use the Darlic or Darlic and Betsy or other kinds of process models in our system and achieve pretty good result. And the take-home message is existing flux upscaling machine learning data-driven product overestimate global terrestrial carbon uptake by 30%. And the way with UFLUX will achieve high resolution performance and very fast. We can do global maps within an hour on a really normal laptop. So you can use this model. It's a Python package, download it, run it. Within an hour, you can generate global maps of carbon fluxes and carbon stalks, and will achieve resolution consistency, which is really important for the land. For example, land managers, they plan their land and they secure their carbon footprint is the minimum to achieve to acquire government subsidies, like for example from the UK. And the model is accurate, it's really quick, and very easy to use for commercialization. And the next step, we are working on the quantification of nighttime respiration to reduce the error between the eddy covariance models and the process modeling. So thank you. So that's all. Let me know if any questions about it. Am I on time?
Just to stop recording. Stop.